She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Whaley is furious.
She's upset. But 100%. 100%.
How about those New York fucking Mets, kid? How the hell you doing? Welcome in, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 143. Today is Friday, October the 4th, 2024. And Joe, our team just doesn't quit. How you doing?
Nah, man, the Destiny Mets, baby. You know, it's our year.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. It's, expected when you least expected. Everyone's counted us out. Just look throughout history. Look what's happening in the NFL. Look at what's happening in major sports. Wherever the public's going, it's the opposite.
Yep.
Fade the public because they have no idea what they're talking about.
I mean, Joe, you and I have been Met fans our whole life. We've seen even the Eddie Chavez robbery, the home run. We still lost that game. Like, there have been tough times being a Met fan. That was one of the biggest home runs I've ever seen. I almost lost my voice. I had to sit down. I almost had a heart attack. Just listening to Howie Rose call that, I mean, it was electric. It made me want to run through a wall. But credit the New York Mets. They don't quit. And everyone counted us out against the Phillies. That's where we like to be, baby.
The one who needed the most, too, man, the polar bear,
And it was crazy because you tweeted something.
Yeah, he's been historically cold.
Yeah, and then I go, you're right. He lost a lot of money. I don't think he's going to get that money back this offseason. And then here comes the biggest hit of his career.
Yeah, bro. And that's just going to surge us forward. So let's go and beat some Philly ass.
Hell yeah. Let's go do that. Enough baseball. Let's get into mixed martial arts. Got a great episode. It is pay-per-view weekend. UFC 307 at the Delta Center in Utah. We got picks and analysis for all plays or all fights in the 307. We'll recap Dana White Contender Series Week 8. I think someone went undefeated. We'll head back to the States. We got Atlanta, Georgia. Bad blood. We'll talk about the WWE. And we got some news and bits towards the end of the show. Got some boxing news as well. So we'll take care of all that a little later on. But Joe, like I said, is it true? 5-0?
Yes, sir. Yeah, for last week's Dana White Contender Series, I went 5-0. I had every prediction correct, and sort of in the manner that we, expected these outcomes. I think I nailed every single one of them. The analysis, looking back at the footage, looking at these fighters' resumes, I was pleasantly surprised. I did not expect to go undefeated, but that just boosts our, total for the year.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, only 2 weeks left. All 5 winners did get a UFC contract as well. Shout out Torres Finney as well. Third time is the charm.
Yeah, third time's the charm. He redeemed himself there.
Yeah.
What you called it with Jacoby Smith's wrestling, just smothering.
He was a beast, kid, man. The kid, he was out of Oklahoma State, right? The Cowboy.
Yeah, that's right,
Yes,
man. David Martinez looks slick. Alberto Montes lived up to the submission hype, and we said it that the Kazakhstanian in the main event, he is just too dominant.
Yeah, and we only got one decision. It was, unfortunately, didn't go to the American, but Dave Martinez, like I said, he smothered him. I mean, the Mexican is for real. He moves to 11-1, and a little setback for Xavier Franklin, but hopefully he will be back. But only 2 weeks left in Dana White Contender Series. But Joe, we're doing good, kid. 5-0. What's the record now?
I mean, you got to tell me, man. Where did we leave off last week?
I think it's 21-14, 21-13.
And now at 5, or that was
that was the 5.
I mean, that's fantastic. 21-13.
Yep, 21-13 year
7-8 above 500. I gotta love it for Dana.
That's what we like, and I mean, you're probably not going to go 0-10, but I mean, we're looking good going into the final 2 weeks of Dana White Contender Series.
Yeah, I already had looked into next week's already, so of course we're hyped for this weekend with UFC 307 in Salt Lake City, and a lot of stuff happens there at Elevation, my boy. But I'm already cooking for week 9.
Yeah, let's get to it. UFC 307. Before we do that and head over to the Delta Center, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys or a new flavor coconut watching UFC 307. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get over to Elevation. All fighters made weight. We had no scale. We had no problems on the scale.
No issue making weight, unlike one fight night 25. Jeez Louise.
What the fuck's going on there? Is treachery like, what are we doing?
I don't know. Having to, if you miss weight and not able to pass the hydration test, having to donate 20% of your purse to the opponent you have and their charity of choice, just making things also confusing. And I had, for 10 seconds left later, I had some plays, but now I might be down to just one. But hey, we'll play it safe.
Is one tonight, one fight night 25 tonight?
Yes, they just had one. They had Friday fights just this morning. Yad IQ was victorious, and it was entertaining as always when you get the Muay Thai fights in bulk. But for tonight, it should be a plethora of events.
Well, you have the champ. Submission. I think it's Alex Nicholas, right? He's going to defend in a rematch.
Yeah, against Reagan Ursel, and it's a good one. I'll have my play for you to close the show.
Sounds good. A little. That's what they call a tease in the biz.
Yeah, a little tease. I'm glad you mentioned it because, like you said, no controversy with the UFC's weigh-ins, but certainly with ones.
We got the two most active UFC fighters in the last 3 years who will be competing this weekend at UFC 307. Can you name the two? I think one is pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's Alex Pereira, right?
And the other is?
Oh, man. So who's been more active? Probably Kevin Holland?
Correct. Kevin Holland, 11 fights, a fight every 100 days. Alex Pereira, 10 fights, a fight every 110 days.
Wow, these guys are always showing up, bro.
Promotional workhorses, I'll tell you that much. But, that is why Dana rewards a guy like Kevin Holland and puts him on a big-time card like this. So I'll let you lead it off.
Yeah, huge spot, full camp and taking on a short notice replacement. I think that's going to be an entertaining fight. But let's kick it off here. For UFC 307 and the first fight of the evening, it's a welterweight fight, man. Two veterans of the sport, two OGs, man. Dirty Bird, Tim Means, he's a minus 185 favorite taking on the Crusher, Court McGee, and he's plus 165. I think the odds would say that Tim Means has an advantage pretty much everywhere. The height, the reach, the striking, and maybe even the grappling. He's got submissions throughout his career. I just don't like where both of these guys are in their point of the career, taking a knockout loss as compared to just losing on the scorecards. Granted, Court McGee got that vicious knockout we saw in Charlotte by Matt Brown, but that's Matt the Immortal Brown. I mean, who doesn't get knocked out like that? And then, like you said, coming off of that, had a fight recently. Though he lost, it went to the judges, so he seems to have been fully recovered. But I see value in Court McGee because of that. We don't know how Tim Means has recovered off the knockout loss. He, this late in the career, it may have residual effect. So I'm going to go with Court McGee. I did play it safe. I see these guys still being tough and maybe going to the judges, but I'll take the plus money to start us off. I love the dogs barking early. Give me plus 165 with Court McGee.
I love it.
And now we go to the light heavyweight division. Man, the return of OSP in this spot, my dude. Big dog, hovering around plus 200, taking on Ryan Superman Spann. Right now I'm seeing a minus 230 favorite. And, look, these guys were supposed to fight a little earlier in the year. I don't know if it was a month or two ago, but in that time, OSP coming off the win, I thought, keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going. I think that, coming off the win, coming into this fight hot, on camp, on weight, he would have had the advantage going in here. But here's Ryan Spann having a little extra time to adjust to the game plan that OSP may have been able to get into better shape, and may have had an easier cut this time around. Normally we see him struggle at the weigh-ins. Like you said, man, no issue whatsoever this week. So, and that being said, I think Superman Spann just more in his prime, though he's had some letdowns. I think he gets it back here against an aging OSP. So give me Ryan Superman Spann. I know it's minus 230, but I'm just going to take him straight up.
Did you skip a fight with the Tisha Pennington one?
I've been seeing it in so many different ways, and I don't know where exactly the order is, but I apologize if it's a little out of place, but that is the fight that I see next.
Okay.
Exactly that. Strawweight division. The women's strawweights between the Cookie Monster, Carla Esparza, who right now is a dog, plus 155, plus 160, depending on where you see her, taking on Tisha, Tiny Tornado, ex-Torres, now Pennington, taking the surname of the champ here on the card. That's her wife. I mean, Tisha Pennington, a lot of losses on her career, never been finished. Man, she is a feisty combatant in there. lives up to her nickname, Tiny Tornado. When she gets in there, she just throws a flurry of kicks and punches, and she's also really good with the grappling. And the issue with her has always been outsized. She's always had opponents she's faced that have been bigger than her and stronger than her. But here comes Carla Esparza, who's just that, just the same size as her. And now Carla Esparza is going to certainly have to use the wrestling here. But I just think Tisha Pett, she's going to have more ways to win, better counter wrestling. With the submissions thrown in there, I think Tisha Pennington could get the job done. So I like her in this spot. Like I said, she's a favorite for a reason. I'll lay the chalk. Give me the minus 175 on Tisha Pennington, the Tiny Tornado, to get it done here. And a resurgence in her career, I believe, if you get a win over Carla Esparza.
Yeah, retirement fight for Carla Esparza. This is her last fight. UFC Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Winning the title once and twice, and the way she did it, and
and who she beat as well.
Who she beat, and then bringing into wrestling. I don't think wrestling was that. We had judo with Ronda Rousey, but really, honestly, Carla Esparza being the champ coming in with that wrestling, she was like the first one to do it.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, for me, real quick, I got to take Pennington as well. Minus 170, minus 175, shop around. But I just think Carla Esparza, she's going to rely on her wrestling too much to get the win on Saturday. We talk about this at length sometimes. We don't like how fighters usually announce, hey, this is my last fight. They already have 1 foot in, 1 foot out at that point. This is a dangerous game to do that with. And I think Pennington, she has the higher fight IQ. She has good takedown defense, and obviously she's going to be the much better striker in this matchup. So as long as Tisha Pennington can keep this fight on the feet, I don't think she'll have any problem getting this win. So a little chalky, maybe you put her in a parlay piece, but I do like Pennington as well.
Yeah, I like it, man. If you look at the percentages, it's probably like 1 out of 10, probably like 10% of those retired fighters trying to get their last fight will actually go out. Will actually go out, how they want to. Robbie Lawler's the only one that's come to mind who's announced a retirement fight, gotten it, and succeeded. Other than that, it's pretty much 0 for 9, right? So 1 for 10.
See ya.
10% chance of ending on a good note with your career. So I like the odds for Tisha Pennington. Let's go into the lightweight division, man. The Ultimate Fighter winner, Austin Thud Hubbard. He's coming in this spot to take on a tough and game Alex the Great Hernandez. Hernandez in the spot's a favorite, minus 145, surprisingly so, based off some of his last performances. And Austin Hubbard, man, a dog. I like the value I'm seeing here, plus 135, plus 140, depending on the books for Thud Hubbard. I feel like he could, right the wrongs of him joining the UFC yet again. I mean, he needs to get it together. And here's a good spot. The resume that Alex Hernandez is sporting right now is not good. 2 consecutive losses to aging superstars. He's got to win off Jim Miller. I don't think Jim Miller, really came in the best of shape. No credit to the legend of Jim Miller, but, Alex just seems to take advantage of those situations, and he did there. But the losses that we've seen as of late are just not good, and I just think this is a perfect time for Austin Hubbard to execute his game plan and come out on top, be victorious. So give me Thud Austin Hubbard here. Take the dog in the spot. I like the plus money. Take it at plus 140. I love Austin Hubbard. And I'm so far so good with the way that the card is going. And the next fight, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, the way the UFC has it, Cesar Almeida was opening up the prelim, and then it was Austin Hubbard.
So it got moved around like crazy.
Yeah.
So that's what fight I had next. I had middleweight Ihor Potieria against Cesar Almeida. And, Ihor Potieria, talented striker, but he just falls in love with it too much. And I just don't think he's as talented as a striker as Cesar Almeida. We've seen him go the distance. We've seen him fight Alex Pereira. Cesar Almeida is a legit striker, and I think he will school Ihor Potieria. So give me Cesar Almeida. I know it's heavy, chalky, minus 400, but I just think he's going to be, a much better competitor. And it's a mismatch for Ihor Potieria. So Cesar Almeida is the right side. And now I'm seeing a strawweight matchup between Marina Rodriguez and Yasmin Lucindo. Like I said, I'm sorry for being kind of scattered shot with what I saw earlier this week when I got the odds to where we are now and how they wanted to do the bout order. But D-Rock, I'll pass it off to you. Who are you taking, Marina Rodriguez or Yasmin Lucindo?
Love how you pronounced it. Nailed it. Marina Rodriguez, yeah, she has a lot of fight experience, and I think UFC experience matters. We talk about this all the time. It's, you might have a lot of fights, but who have you fought? She's been in there with everyone. I know she's 1-3 in her last 4, but she has quick hands. She's fast. And I think she will be able to get up if Lucienta takes her down. So I like the dog here. Marina Rodriguez plus 160. Kid, dogs are barking early.
Yeah, I like it too. That's actually the side I'm on. I'm taking Marina Rodriguez. Being in these positions, pay-per-view cards, she has the experience there. And I just look at the level of competition she's fought. Granted, she's come out on the short end of the stick. Way higher level fighters than, let's look at the last 3 victories for Yasmin Lucindo. Brogan Walker out of the UFC. Poliana Vaiana kind of out of the UFC. And Karolina Kovacic just retired. So, I mean, 3 fights that she's granted gotten victories off of, but just not the best of competition. I like Marina just fighting tougher competition. This is a fight to get back for her. Give me Marina Rodriguez on the money line. I love the dog spot for her there. So let's move it right along. What's the worst that can happen? Both being on the same side.
Yeah, right.
If I'm correct, is this the start of the main card? Or is this the featured prelim?
The featured prelim.
So the feature prelim is between Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Joaquin Numancia Buckley. And I do love this fight. You know, is there a chance, just like in the main event, to not see either guy lose? You know, I'm loving the resurgence of Stephen Thompson. He's always a guy you have to figure out and solve the puzzle to get into the top 10, you know, in the top 5. And Joaquin Buckley's rise here in the welterweight division has been, you know, something sort of legend. You know, he's minus 210. Wonderboy Thompson's plus 200. You know, I think it comes to a matter of age. Buckley is more in his prime. He's probably more ready. He's been fighting steady or higher level competition as he's getting there. So it seems that he's primed and ready for the spot. But not many people have solved the puzzle against Wonderboy Thompson. I mean, he is exactly that. He is a tricky puzzle to solve. Not many people have, you know, figured it out. I hate MMA math. You know, I always do it. Kevin Holland, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson finished him there. We saw what Kevin Holland did to Joaquin Buckley at the welterweight division. So, with that being said, man, I don't think that Joaquin Buckley, even though I still see him having a chance here in this division of making a name for himself, I just don't think he passes the test. I think Wonderboy Thompson is going to come out on top. He's going to be victorious in this. Man, he's staying on the feet. If this doesn't go to the ground, which I think Buckley may not want to execute some wrestling, I think he's going to have to, you know, find his way to victory. But I just think it's hard to take down Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You know, he is such a tough fighter, rangy, long striker, front foot that's tricky. And he was denying Shavkat Rakhmonov, you know, for the first, as much as you could keep that man off you. He was doing a great job. I just think that level of wrestling that Buckley possesses compared to Rakhmonov is night and day. Thompson should be able to handle that takedown defense and throw those strikes up. I'm worried if Buckley gets finished. I would not like to see him, you know, lose on the feet like that, but that's always a possibility with Wonderboy Thompson. So I'm going to take the dog here. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Carolina Chris, Carolina Thompson. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, biggest fight for Buckley in his career, no doubt. Big price on him, too, in my opinion. I think Buckley is going to be a tough out for Wonderboy. However, let's not forget, you made a great point. Wonderboy was beating the boogeyman in Shavkat for most of that fight. His footwork was great, but once he broke his foot, he lost all mobility. I think that was the issue. That's why he wound up losing. But when he's moving, I don't think the takedowns will be that easy for Buckley. His footwork, his speed is going to give Buckley problems in this fight. And that's why I'm going with another dog, plus 185. Give me Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, man. I love it.
Awesome, man. The dogs are barking. We got a couple going so far, so let's hope for the best. And now we've made it to the main card of UFC Salt Lake City, UFC 307. There's some of the most active fighters on the roster here in the main card, and we kick it off with exactly that, man. In the welterweight division, Roman the Caucasian Dolidze is taking on Kevin the Trailblazer Holland. And D-Rock, I'll pass it off to you. We have here Roman Dolidze as a dog, plus 130 to plus 135, depending on the book, too. Kevin Holland's minus 155 to minus 160 favorite odds. What are you taking?
Not your fault, but they keep switching the order. It's Caitlin Vieira versus Kayla Harrison opening up the main card. But we'll touch on that in just a little.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a great fight. Second time at 185 for Kevin Holland. And to be honest, I just think this is a bad matchup for Kevin Holland. When Dolidze is on his game, in my opinion, I think he's one of the best grapplers in the game. Holland has shown that takedowns can be a problem for him. I personally think Dolidze is the better fighter overall between the two. His weight cut looked good. I think if he paces himself, he should be able to beat Holland here. I would also sprinkle a little on Dolidze via submission as well. I think he's going to take Holland down, take him to the mat, control him, chip away at the striking. Just don't play the head games. We know Kevin Holland loves to go in there, talk to you, play those head games. That's how he gets the edge. Don't play the head games, just fight your fight, and I think he'll be good. Give me another dog. Roman Dolidze plus 125.
Hey man, the dogs are barking for you. But I do have Kevin Holland. I'm taking the opposite here, based off just like Jack Hermanson was like Roman Dolidze's best win. Coming off a barely victorious fight, granted, stepping on a short notice against Anthony Smith. Shout out Lionheart for doing that for him. But man, I mean, you should have been ready. You're going to take on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez prior to that. And if you came with that kind of game plan, you would have probably got tossed by Fluffy. So loss to Nasser Imavov, that's a good loss, but the loss to Marvin Vettori isn't all that. And the 3 wins before that, just Mariano Staropoli, Kyle Dawkins, Phil Hawes. I mean, just not what I like to see when you're getting wins off of there and we're expecting high things from you. Kevin Holland's a more experienced fighter, better striker. Roman Dolidze's going to have to wrestle to win this fight. I just see Kevin Holland throwing a knee, throwing something in there that's going to switch up the timing and make Dolidze fearful of going in there. Taking a Trailblazer, I got the favorite minus 150. I'm very going for like a second round knockout to see that can get done. But I do see Dolidze's path to victory. Like I said, it's through the wrestling. It's just if Kevin Holland's going to be stingy enough to let that go. But we'll see. May the best man win.
Gold Devils, first goal of the season, baby. 1-0 in Prague.
I love it. Jack, really?
Yeah, it's the global series. We're making the sport global.
Hey, you gotta love it, man. So let's go on to the fight that should take place before this one, which is the women's bantamweights. Kayla Harrison is taking on Caitlin Vieira. Man, Kayla Harrison was smoking everyone on the mic, man, and
she was,
especially Juliana Pena, bro. She got her ass, and I mean, Caitlin Vieira was kind of intimidating, though. The words she was saying, not speaking English, like that's fearful. I'm not gonna say. So I think this is gonna be actually a very closely contested fight. I think people are expecting Kayla Harrison to blow Caitlin Vieira out of water. I think she is a very competitive fighter. I think the jiu-jitsu may present some issue, especially if Kayla Harrison tries to take her to the ground, which most likely I think will happen. It's just about Kayla Harrison's path to a finish, which unfortunately I don't see. I got Kayla Harrison winning via decision on my verdict predictions. So if you want to take that prop, it's probably the best way because right now Kayla Harrison is a very heavy favorite. Correct me if I'm wrong, I see minus 1,000 and up for her.
Yeah, biggest favorite on the card, no doubt. She is a minus 1,200.
I like the prop via decision, Kayla Harrison.
Real quick, breaking news. Again, you mentioned at the top just a lot of, I guess, cancellations between programs and promotions. Bellator Paris was not the only event that was canceled this week. According to State Farm Arena, 169 in Atlanta, Georgia is also canceled.
Wow.
Yep, and that happened a minute ago. So just wanted to let you know because I know you're deep into one. And
and they're right here. I was actually trying to maybe attend the Atlanta card. So
yeah, you're right there in Georgia.
Yikes. That does not bode well for the future of the organization, especially everything we just talked about to start this.
Back to this, though, real quick. Kayla Harrison, I mean, just looking at the odds, it definitely looks like Kayla Harrison is the biggest threat or problem in the 135-pound division. I mean, she submitted Holly Holm in her UFC debut. I think this... I'll say this, to be fair to Caitlin Vieira, I think this fight should be more competitive than the odds indicate. The weight cut looked good for Kayla again, which is a good sign for her and for the brass. She has not just the best judo, she has the best judo we've ever seen compete in the sport. And I don't think that's up for debate, if I'm being honest. I just think her aggression is going to be too much for Caitlin Vieira. Minus 1,200 or whatever you see, it's just too high. I got Kayla Harrison via decision at plus 115. I think that's the safer bet. She's gonna have a sick call out. I think she's great on the mic as well. And like you said, she was kind of killing it at the press conference. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I like the Venezuelan Vixen, there's got to be put in her place. Which,
I mean, that's crazy facts. You start your career in 2009, you're only 10-5. She starts in 2018, 17-1. She already has more fights and a way better win percentage.
You ran away from the Brazilian. It was great. That was great. But yeah, Kayla Harrison via decision for me.
Yeah, and that's the fight that needs to happen. So we'll talk about that after the featured bout where we have the King of Rio returning. Man, or that. But this bantamweight division, man, it just goes to show like how deep it is where you have, 35, 36-year-old Jose Aldo coming back and being as competitive as he can, taking on a tough Mario Batista in this spot. D-Rock, are you going to go with the King of Rio again? He is a dog. Plus 130 I'm seeing against Mario Batista's minus 150. Where do you lean?
I'll say this, Joe. This was the hardest fight to come down on for me. I'll say this real quick. Mario Bautista is a fucking bull. No pun intended to our boy Anthony the Bull, but this guy is a bull. 8-2 in the UFC. He's won 6 straight fighting out of MMA Lab.
Yep.
Strength of schedule is okay for Batista, just okay. You know, definitely this is going to be his biggest challenge to date. I like his grappling, but I don't think his grappling is going to work against the King of Rio. If the champ Merab Dvalishvili couldn't take down Jose Aldo, I'm sorry, but Mario Batista isn't taking him down either. Yep. Jose Aldo is going to make you strike with him, just like he did Jonathan Martinez. And can I say Jose Aldo looked great in his, I'm going to use air quotes, comeback fight. You know, he was fast. His head movement was there. His counters were sharp, especially to the body. It's not a lot of flash with Jose Aldo. And I think when you're the master of fundamentals and do everything really well, you are extremely hard to beat, in not just mixed martial arts, in every sport. Batista has experience in the octagon, but not at the level of Jose Aldo, a future Hall of Famer. And for that reason alone, I got to take the King of Rio. Jose Aldo as a dog, plus 125. Give me another dog.
Yeah, give me that as well, brother. I'm going with the King of Rio. I got to take Jose Aldo, bro. It's just the level of IQ and intelligence he has in the fight game, being able to throw an arsenal of weapons at you, and having the ability to back it. Like I think even though at 35 years of age, it's like he's never aged. You know, he's like in his prime still. You know, he wanted to retire himself in the sunset and said, you know what, I've done all I can. But he's like, you know what, I still got it. And it proves he does. And I think the win over the Dragon, Jonathan Martinez, is a better fighter than Mario Batista. Not to knock Batista at all. But if you're going to look up resumes, you're going to look up records, you're going to look up, you know, where they were, I think that Jonathan Martinez is a better fighter. So Jose Aldo should be the favorite in my eyes. And the fact that he's a dog, I'm going to hop over to plus money because he's more intelligent. I think he has more ways to win. And the fact that he's backing all that with a body that's capable of doing so, Jose Aldo is on his way to another title, man, in the 135-pound division.
It's incredible. I love it.
I love that too as well. So we've made it to the co-main event of UFC 307. And it's for the women's bantamweight championship, man. Raquel Pennington, Rocky Pennington, what a surprising champ to see her come back and do it again and become the champ here. And she's going to defend it at minus 150 as a favorite, taking on the Venezuelan Vixen, who's a dog at plus 150 in this spot. D-Rock, are you taking another dog?
Yeah, Juliana Pena, she has to come forward, use her pressure, you know, closing the distance and controlling the cage, I think is going to be extremely important for this matchup. You know, Rocky, it's obvious she's going to be the cleaner, more crisp striker than Pena. You know, she's going to push against the cage and use her clinch work. But Juliana, she's good at crashing in, but she doesn't do it, you know, recklessly, I would say. You know, I think she has underrated ability to close the distance as well, connect with her opponent using the body. She trains in Chicago with those bulls. And if she does take Pennington down, I think Pena's gonna be heavy on top, and she's really good in that position. She took out the Guo in Amanda Nunes, and I think that happens again. And new, she's not great on the mic, but and new, the Venezuelan Vixen, baby, give me another dog.
Yeah, I'm based in this off story. I can't believe how aligned we are. We know we don't discuss our picks, but we are online. A lot of stuff. I think we are going head to head with only one fight, and then for this one, we are riding again. I am taking the Venezuelan Vixen. We have a future out for her to be the champ at the end of the year. And not only that, it's exactly what we said. We want to see this matchup. We want to see Kayla Harrison take on Juliana Pena. Granted, you know, against Pennington, I think it'd be better for Kayla Harrison's like resume to beat a Raquel Pennington, OG of the sport, a two-time champion, all this stuff. But just the heat that's behind these two, I think would make for a better storyline. And that's Juliana Pena taking on Kayla Harrison. And, man, if that match happens, I would probably favor Kayla Harrison because she seems to be on an absolute mission. So, for storyline's sake, I'm taking Juliana Pena. I hope your ticket hits. I hope my ticket in the futures hit. And we'll see it end new. It'll be our, I think, 9th new champion of the year. I mean, this year has been one for the record book. So, I'm thinking we're going to see it here. And another dog for the books.
I'll say this, Joe, if she wins, cash our future in because she's not a very active fighter in general. So isn't Kayla. It's a hard cut to make anyway.
We won't see them till next year.
Till next year. We will cash that night. Maybe tomorrow night, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. So we've made it yet again to the main event, man. I'm excited for this one. I was wondering who we're going to get for the main event, where we're going to see, you know, for 308, we're going to see them in Salt Lake. But I think for the month of October, man, no days off. Every single day we will have something to watch, every sports related, and it all culminates on Saturdays to watch these fights, man, these pay-per-view fights. And kick it off here for the month of October with Alex Poatan Pereira, who's a big favorite, man. Minus 500 on some books, taking on, man, everyone's favorite lovable guy, wanting to see the story come true. You know, the underdog that is Khalil Roundtree Jr. And man, I'll just go off with where my mind is at, where my heart is at. Like I said, I don't want to see either guys lose. You know, I like Alex Pereira and his story, and I like Khalil Roundtree and his story. I mean, he inspires me to be a better person and be better every single day and work for my goals and have passion. And it's just very inspiring to see him and what he has to say and everything. And I heard some controversy about whatever satanic thing and all this stuff. I think he's a good guy. I think, he's a very competitive fighter. You know, he wanted to do some jiu-jitsu tournaments. He went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe Rogan's like, don't do it. So I do think he has some grappling ability, but he even said it for himself. He is not going to let the fans down and go shooting for a takedown against Poatan. He's going to want to stand and bang, and may the best man win between there, because it's hard to stand and bang with Alex Pereira because the dude just touches you and you go out. Everything that Sean Strickland has said, everything that Izzy said, Izzy was just on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if you saw that episode. But just everything they have to say about Alex Pereira, man, it's inevitable that he's going to find the chin. And I would hate for that to happen to Khalil Roundtree, but as a stand-up guy and a class act he is, but that's what I see happening. I think he's too skillful and too intelligent with the striking, and if Roundtree is going to give in to the ego and give in to the fans, unfortunately, as we didn't see Merab do that, he did what he needed to do to become the champ. I think Khalil Roundtree is going to have to go the path of least resistance and not strike with the most deadliest, strangest striker that the UFC has at the moment. But that's what he's going to do, and I just think he's going to get caught. So give me Alex Poatan Pereira. Got to take him with the KO TKO because at minus 500 is not worth the squeeze. So even though I have him straight up, I would go on to make an official prop bet and take Poatan via KO TKO here.
As much as, I think you and I don't want to speak for you, but you and I kind of wanted to see Magomed Ankalaev in this fight. This is the more exciting fight. I'll say that. No, it's not going a whole 5 rounds. This fight is going to end. Maybe use Pereira in a parlay piece. I like Pereira in this matchup, but I just don't love the odds we're getting him. Even in a TKO is minus 370. Even that, you put him in a parlay piece. So just going to talk about the fight real quick.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is a tough matchup for him. 2 really good strikers. Roundtree, we'll say this. We always say he does have a puncher's chance, and, he can be a threat to upset Alex Pereira, but he does. I think this is going to just be a high-level kickboxing fight, especially considering Pereira keeps his hands low. But Pereira, his precision striking, I just think he has more ways to win. That leg kick is deadly. Keep in mind, Pereira, he has been training with Glover Teixeira as well. He brought in Sean Strickland for this camp as well. So don't be surprised if he's the first one to actually shoot for a takedown as well.
Right?
So I would put that out there. I lean over 1.5 rounds, actually. I do think the first round is a feel-out round, and then they're going to start and bang. No pun intended. But I do like Alex Pereira here to win via KO, TKO. Like I said, throw him in a parlay piece. Might not add too much
the submission's
value.
live, bro. I'm looking at it now, and
Right?
I was like, who did Khalil Roundtree lose to submission to? Another stand-up guy, Tyson Pedro. So Tyson Pedro ain't going out there trying to submit people. And when you have
a Hall of Famer and Glover Teixeira in your corner, you're gonna get some good ground game in.
Yeah, man.
So,
I
like Pereira.
Live. I would take the submission just for shits and gigs.
Yeah, I think Pereira's the right side. I'll ask you this. Would you be surprised if Khalil Roundtree upsets him?
I just think that his way to win is going to be, because I don't think he's going to be technically proficient. I don't think he's going to outpoint him. I don't think that he's going to be able to secure a takedown and get to a submission. I think he's going to have to catch him. And I just don't think that Pereira is going to be as, drained as he was at 185 here at 205. He's more natural, not as, vulnerable to take a shot and actually go out. I do think now that he has the weight on, he'll be able to take one of Khalil's shot. And granted, Khalil Roundtree could hit hard, but Pereira does the same. And I don't think the same can be said for Khalil Roundtree. I don't think he could take Pereira's best shot as Pereira may be able to take Khalil's best shot.
I love it. Yeah, and like you said, after this, we are right back to it next weekend. Taisura Tora and Brandon Royval, UFC Vegas 98. We are almost there to the grand finale, UFC 100.
100, the biggest
Biggest
card in
Biggest
UFC
card.
history.
But yeah, we are at the Delta Center. Joe, good luck. And let's have a hell of a night. Good luck
Yes,
on
sir.
all your bets. I think
you.
this is going to be a really good one. And like I said, we don't really talk about our fights up until the show. And surprised we're on a lot of the same plays.
We
thought I was
haven't
gonna
been.
Yeah.
Throughout this year, we've been on opposite sides for the majority of the year. And you know what? It's every now and again that we're due for one where we're seeing similar.
100%. Let's go a little south. We're in the West Coast. Let's go down to kind of by your neck of the woods, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
For Bad Blood.
I might as well go to this instead of one not being able to make it down.
Yeah, literally. At this point, I mean, this is interesting event. A lot of revenge here at play. Obviously, headlined by the tag team Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. You have the tag team, with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatui. But yeah, the main event obviously was CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. How long haven't we had bad blood for? About 20 years, right?
I was gonna say it's been a while, dude.
Let's go. Devil scored again, 2-0. Boys are buzzing, baby. Let's start in that main event. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. These two, I know it's storylines, but these two really don't like each other.
No, I don't think they
really
do either.
don't. They hate each other. Just like Blue hates all the fucking fleas out there. So, what are we doing? You like CM Punk, the best to ever do it, or are you going with the Scottish psychopath?
Man, square it up head to head. Drew McIntyre probably has the advantage physically throughout every match. But every time there's been an involvement of some, object or obstacle or the environment, it seems that CM Punk can outwit Drew McIntyre, take the most of what the anger that Drew McIntyre has and be able to turn it against him. So CM Punk has been, very psychological. He's been the cerebral assassin, if you may, in a lot of ways. And though it does come down to straight brutality in the Hell in the Cell, I mean, we've seen it time and time again how bad he can get in there. Something tells me that CM Punk may use it to his advantage and come out on top. And I think CM Punk is the right side, though he could absolutely get destroyed in there against Drew McIntyre. I think the Hell in a Cell will give him an advantage and help him win. So give me CM Punk.
I love it. Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. CM Punk, like I said, it's going to be violence, this main event. Blood, I think blood's going to be splattering in this one. McIntyre, won the first meeting. Punk won the second. So it's, this is do or die in it. And I think what it really comes down to, who needs the win more? Punk, he's a legend in my eyes. He could probably come out of things fine if he doesn't win this, I guess, if you want to call it a feud. But I think coming back to the WWE was such a big deal. And, he had that injury. He healed up quick. It makes sense for him to come out on the top here in this kind of storyline. Hopefully, I think both men are great entertainers where they're both going to come out, deliver a really good match, a lot of anticipation for the fans there, stay healthy. But I agree. I'm going to take CM Punk here.
The best in the world. Yo, bro, and like
Yep.
you said, 27-year anniversary of the first ever Hell in a Cell match.
It's amazing. I can't wait. You should take a trip, bro. Just go. Just fucking go.
I'm gonna go.
Let's go to the next fight. Like I said, tag team fight between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. What a duo that is against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. I love Jacob Fatu here, man.
He's a savage.
He's a savage. I don't want to go into my pick first. I want to hear what you guys say. I was kind of torn, but where you going?
Yeah, because you know how hot you got to ride Roman Reigns, right? Like he's the hot hand coming back. There's no way that he's going to lose, but it just seems tumultuous between him and Cody Rhodes. He wants the belt. Cody Rhodes doesn't trust Roman Reigns. We don't know Roman Reigns' relationship with the bloodline behind the scenes. They could be working something out, and then Roman Reigns comes out and says, we got a snippet, or was it Cody Rhodes? I think it might have been Cody Rhodes who came on Pat McAfee's show, and he comes out, we got
he did.
A vignette that's going to happen after the match about the future of, the title or something. So with that being said, I just don't think that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are going to get along enough to come out victorious with a very unison bloodline right now. They're working together very well. And granted, they've been getting beat up on their fair share. They've been beating up, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens and you name it. But they've gotten their fair share of licks back. So I think it's pretty even in terms of the shape that they're in. But I just think that, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns are going to butt heads. It's inevitable. It may not happen here, but I just don't think they're going to be cohesive enough to beat the Bloodline. So I'll take the Bloodline in this spot. I do think that this will cause some fallout. And then, like we said, with Cody Rhodes having a vignette after the match, we'll see what happens. Maybe it's Roman Reigns saying something, or maybe it's The Rock coming back. I mean, we don't know, but I just don't think that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns have enough storyline together yet to work together to beat the Bloodline. Bloodline's going to win.
Yeah, I could see the logic, the new Bloodline winning this fight. Reigns returning to the ring for the first time since losing his title to obviously Cody Rhodes back at WrestleMania. We all know that. The story of Solo Sikoa as the Bloodline, I just don't think is a dominant one, in my opinion. It's kind of out of control nature that it's eventually going to cause some instability in my eyes. Losing in these moments, especially if Sikoa is the one who does take the pin, furthers their storyline and gives, I think, Roman Reigns even a bigger comeback moment. So
he is the tribal chief, the real tribal chief.
Exactly. So I am going to take Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns here.
Roman Reigns pin Solo Sikoa is your prediction?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that is actually it. So we'll see. I could be wrong in this one. This one was kind of hard to pick.
Yeah, and then Jacob Fatu and everyone are looking at Roman like, you are the real tribal chief.
And then everyone is going to put their finger up and acknowledge him.
But no, I don't think it'll happen that soon. But you're going to start seeing some doubt in the
100%.
Current tribal chief. That's what happens. It starts getting imploded from within.
Let's go to the next one. We got a women's world championship champion.
It came true. It came true, bro.
Yep. Liv
Dominic
Morgan.
Mysterio being hung from a damn Shark Tank. Like Ray and freaking Eddie trying to win the rights to him, bro.
You got the champ Liv Morgan defending her belt against Mommy.
Yeah, I do. I just think that, man, as much as Rhea Ripley should win, I just feel like they're going to keep this heat going between Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. There's no reason to break it apart now. If Rhea wins, I think it kind of cuts all that short. And I still think there's a lot of storytelling to be told between the Judgment Day and the twins, the Terror Twins, right? So I still feel like the storyline isn't close to being over. We got Survivor Series, right, coming up. So I feel like we can have more matches and more storylines go into possibly even lead into next year's WrestleMania. I mean, that's in April, so we'll see what's going forward. I just don't think Liv's going to lose the belt here, and she's going to have to keep Dom, so she's going to have to win this match.
Yeah, I'm going to take our girl Liv Morgan as well. Like I said, this one was a tough one to call, but I think it could go either way. I think Raw has a big problem in the women's locker room. Who's ready to challenge the winner of this feud? Simply, I don't know who it is. I feel like the answer to that question really right now is nobody. It makes me think Liv can retain, dragged out the issues with Mommy to another month or two, even if Dominic Mysterio is locked in a Shark Tank for the match. I mean, I just think no one can compete with Liv Morgan in Raw. They have a locker room problem with that women's division. So I think it continues, and for that reason, the only play that makes sense is to continue to drag out this rivalry. So yeah, give me Liv Morgan and still. Let's go to the WWE Women's Championship match between the champ Nia Jax taking on Bayley. Please tell me you have Bayley.
Man, I don't. I have Nia Jax. I just think, as much it was hard to take the championship off of Bayley earlier in the year, I think it is now equally hard to take Nia Jax's belt off. She just seems exactly what her nickname is, the irresistible force. Everything you throw at her, I mean, she takes it and she deals back double damage. I don't know. It's got to be like something going on. Maybe it's just the pull. They're making her booking her very strong. And I think in turn, if you can then down the line beat her, you yourself become an even stronger competitor. And something's telling me to keep that going. It does seem like the WWE wants to push Tiff. They want to push Tiffany Stratton. So I think the switching of the belts doesn't bode well for a dominant champion. And if you want to get a new face of the WWE, you're going to have Nia Jax be dominant, and then Tiffany Stratton beat her in the future. So I see Nia Jax defending, as much as I hate it because I still love Bayley. I just think it's too soon right now. Maybe if you want to keep this rivalry going, maybe down the line. But right now, it does seem that the WWE has big plans for Tiffany Stratton, and for her to become champion and be a dominant champion, she would have to beat a dominant one in Nia Jax.
I'll say this, the WWE under Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, I think his creative reign prefers stability and sustained titles. I don't think that's kind of a hot take here, but Nia Jax, only 2 months into her WWE Women's title reign, and she's rematching the woman she beat for the title. Bayley won the title, in a nice WWE WrestleMania moment, but the reign wasn't memorable, in my opinion. The dynamic between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, like you mentioned, is far, far more interesting and should be prioritized. And I agree. As much as I hate it, I do think they're going to keep the belt with Nia Jax. So, yeah.
Good heel.
Good heel. Yes, good heel. And I think they're just building it up for Tiffy time.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, no, she is a star. She is a really good star. And then last fight, Damian Pierce. Well, hopefully, Damian Pierce. It's a singles match between Damian Pierce and Finn Balor. The Judgment Day. They've seen better days. I'll say that.
Yeah, they certainly have. Adam Pearce and Damian Priest had a baby. Damian Pierce. No, man. Finn Balor has been eking his revenge against Damian Priest and trying to be the dominant one, to say that he was in the right this whole time, and that you should have listened to him when we were together in the Judgment Day. I think he needs to put that all to rest after he loses here to the Archer of Infamy. I think Damian Priest is gonna put this to rest, gonna choke slam him down, and just make quick work of Finn Balor. I really just think that he's gonna prove that he was the alpha in the Judgment Day. And we're slowly seeing Judgment Day kind of break apart. I think they have the belts right now with Carlito, right?
Yeah.
But I just think that it's you separate from these two dominant, Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. I think sooner or later it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. So Finn Balor was trying to go over, the main guy, like the head of the stable. Who's to say that someone doesn't want to do the same for him? You create a vicious circle in that. And so that's why I think Finn Balor, thinking he's all safe at the head of the table, quote unquote, he's not really. He could be living in paranoia, looking over your shoulder to some of the people within your own stable. So I think he's got too much to worry about. He's got too much pride and ego going into this, and it's gonna work against him. I think Damian Priest is fighting for pride here, and he's fighting for what's right. And now that he's a face, I think, there's a lot they could do with him. So give me the Archer of Infamy. I think he'll beat Finn Balor and prove that he was the guy.
Yeah, these Judgment Day matches are definitely harder ones to judge. No pun intended. Yeah, but I think much of this fight comes down to, how long the WWE wants to kind of drag on this story. I do think the faction has, established their presence on on Monday Night Raw, but that somewhat shields Finn Balor and the company, from certain bookings and fights that they could match up. I think Damian Priest, his title as world champion, was a good reign. Surprisingly enough, I'm not the biggest Damian Priest fan, but I did think he had a good title reign.
It wasn't quantity; it was quality.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's important that he's booked strongly, too. So yeah. I think getting a win here, unless the WWE wants to just abandon that time they invested in him, which that's just not like the WWE. So,
but they had invested a lot in Finn Balor, going back to all that stuff. So, there's a lot.
But he was never champion like him.
He was the first ever Universal champ. And I think that's what it is. It's like, do they want to go back? I think it's more Finn Balor getting the dirt kicked on him throughout his career and having that kind of like Daniel Bryan moment towards the end of his career. I really think that's what's in store for Finn Balor.
I love it. Good. Give me Damian Priest, baby. Yeah. And what was there? There's going to be another
Maybe the World Heavyweight Championship gets called tonight because we got SmackDown. So Gunther and Sami Zayn are looking to have a match, but I don't know if they will. Gunther's been very reluctant on giving Sami Zayn anything.
TBD, up for debate. But yeah, those are our 4 plays for Bad Blood. 27th anniversary, like Joey said, this Saturday.
Crazy.
On Peacock. So go find that over there. And that leaves
The cock.
We got some news, kid. Let's get to it. UFC 309. We got in the Mecca, November 16th, 309. Carlos Pratis taking on Randy Rubai.
Oh my God, no!
What a fight!
Bumba cut. Yo, I like that fight a lot, man. Two long, rangy strikers. Freitas is probably going to have the volume. That's something that worries me. I like Randy Brown a lot. I would hate for him to lose. But, man, Freitas is a dangerous striker, dude. Randy's going to probably have to wrestle. Randy's going to probably have to wrestle a little bit.
Don't
ground and pound.
Boy,
I think getting Freitas off his feet and throwing some ground and pound, some vicious ground and pound is going to be the path of victory for Rude Boy. But sure, it's going to be a hell of a job to get Freitas on the ground. So I think that's a great fight.
The legend, Jim A10 Miller, is on the card. UFC 309. He will take on Damon Jackson, looking to bounce back.
Yeah, that's a good matchup. A little homage to the olden days, when these guys were wearing their own trunks with their own advertisements on them. So I like that, man. I want them to do back with that. We were talking about it. Izzy and Joe Rogan were talking about it. Let's get the fighters to bring back the creativity. We have a little bit of it with the uniform code. Venom, Bryce Mitchell getting his, camo shorts, Sean O'Malley getting the pink, and Izzy getting the purple, you name it. I like that creativity, but it'd be more so if you let the fighters kind of do what they want. So let's see that
more
take place.
Democracy. Yeah.
For democracy.
We got the Welsh gangster, Oban Elliott, taking on Basil Hafez.
Basil Hafez. Yeah.
Hafez, yeah.
He gave Jack Della Maddalena a very tough fight that outing. I think people could sleep on it. He trains out of Philadelphia. All the fighters there, tough as can be. Great camp for Daniel Gracie. But, man, who is it again? It's the
Welsh gangster, Oban Elliott.
Man, damn. That's a tough fight, man. Some great announcements that were coming out for the end of the year. I like these.
UFC 100, biggest card, November 9th. Cody Stamann will take on Damon Blackshear.
Wow.
Good fight.
Damon Blackshear, very good grappler. One of the only twister finishes in UFC history, along with the Korean Zombie. But, man, who the first name again?
Yeah, he's fighting Cody Stamann.
Cody Stamann's tough. We saw him in Charlotte. Douglas Silva de Andrade, you gave him a tough matchup. Man, that's honestly like a low-key barn burner. Because Damon Blackshear ain't afraid to exchange on the feet, but it's just the wrestling compared to the jiu-jitsu. What's going to happen there? So I think a lot of scrambling and maybe winding up on the feet in that one.
That's all I have in the UFC. Fights announced. Boxing news. Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roche is set for December 14th. The WBA have now seemingly confirmed. They've announced it. They've granted a special permission for Lamont Roche to challenge Gervonta Davis for his WBA lightweight world title while still reigning his WBA super featherweight world title. It's December 14th. It's apparently going to take place in Houston, Texas. You like that fight for Gervonta?
Yeah, I mean, the guy he's fighting, Lamont Roche, has been in Texas a bunch of times fighting, got a loss, unanimous decision loss. He's got a draw on his record. So he's not, sporting the best record in terms of what people want to see. But don't sleep on him. I know Lamont Roche is a very skillful boxer. And he gave Gervonta Davis some run for his money because Gervonta Davis may fall in love with that knockout. He's got to stick to his game plan to throw his shots and set up that KO shot. But if he doesn't, he's just leading with it. Lamont Roche can cut some good angles and find a way to victory. Is how skillful he is. And in terms of using that ring to his advantage, he could outwit Gervonta Davis, especially if he makes him tired and gets him later in the fight. But Gervonta Davis is, all it takes is one with him, man. With that low of a weight class, the power he possesses, man, he can touch you one time and put you in some serious trouble. So I think it's a great fight.
Gervonta Davis via murder. We got
what is he, minus 1,000 already? Do they have odds up?
It's ridiculous. We don't have odds out. I did check. No odds just yet. And then we got Inoue versus Sam Goodman is reportedly now being finalized for Inoue's undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO super bantamweight world titles. Christmas Eve, December 24th.
I love Christmas Eve.
Tokyo, Japan. He's still in Asia, but can Sam Goodman put up a fight against pound for pound one of the best fighters?
No. Just like you said with Gervonta Davis, Lamont Roche is a way higher level fighter than Sam Goodman, man. Sam Goodman don't have a shot here. Naoya Inoue by murder.
By murder. I love the kid. All right, that's all the news I got. 10 seconds left. What do we got? One?
We're going to go with it. One fight night 25. Granted, with all the weight cut controversy and what they're doing now over there, hopefully they figure it out before they go bankrupt. But, I had a lot of other fights that I wanted to talk about, but with the weight cuts being what they are and now losing a couple fights, we only have the main event. And Alexis Nicholas is plus 120, taking on Regan Ursel at minus 150. They fought before. I actually watched that entire fight with my dad, and we said it. Nicholas did enough to win that fight. He dropped him. He did what he needed to do, and he won on the judges' scorecards. But this time around, I think Ursel's going to be motivated. I think he's going to have that figured out, and he's not going to get dropped, and I think he may be doing the dropping. I think he may be the one to drop Alexis Nicholas with especially the counter strike that he possesses. And he's a slight favorite at minus 150. Give me the immortal Regan Ursel to get his title back and maybe collect a trilogy between him and Alexis Nicholas. And I know there's other fights. If you want to say I don't have odds for them, but John Lineker, hands of stone, now being a Muay Thai fighter is probably one of the most electric things you could see. Dude's 5'0", and he's just knocking people out. And I think he'll do the same against Alexei Baleko. So it's not a pick or anything, but if y'all got nothing to do later tonight, tune into that, and you'll get some, highlight reel knockouts.
Thank you so much, Joe. Good luck this weekend. Good luck in Bad Blood. Good luck at UFC 307. It's going to be a great weekend. We got UFC. We got a London game as well. Go. Sam Darnold's looking for that revenge spot, kid. Go Jets.
Trap game. Jets are a London team, baby.
Let's fucking go.
And let's go Mets.
Good luck. God bless.